There's a lot of excitement because a lot of those single site trials have shown in some patients this amazing response on imaging and an amazing response with regards to their PSA levels. So their PSA values might go from hundreds or thousands to maybe even undetectable, or their imaging scans might go from seeing all these different metastases throughout the body to then no longer seeing them. So you could see how visually, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Visually, it creates this excitement that is creates a lot of hope that something like this can really make a huge difference. And again, that's kind of why we need to sort of see the data to really understand where it best fits. For the time being, the studies have really looked at it in later stage patients, patients who are metastatic castration resistant and have received, 2, 3 lines of therapy already. And in those patients, there are patients who will definitely respond, and there might be some patients who don't. And that's another question we need to figure out. How do we know who the patients who will respond are and who the patients who won't respond are? Because that's another important piece as well, because we do not want to have patients undergo this therapy and potentially suffer from any side effects or adverse events if it's not going to benefit them. So I think when you look at the PSA response and the imaging response, it creates a tremendous amount of hope for those patients who will respond to this therapy. Number one, we're hoping that the data from the Vision trial gets presented in maybe mid-2021. And if that data turns out to be positive, it clearly proves that it's good for patients, we're hoping that maybe it receives FDA approval soon after that, and then it could be distributed to patients perhaps late 2021 or 2022. That's just the beginning. That is what allows for this drug to get FDA approval, but that's just only step one. Step 2, 3, 4 involves even more trials, testing this in, a variety of different disease states, testing it in combination with other drugs, testing it perhaps earlier in disease, maybe someone with metastatic hormone-sensitive disease, someone who actually, at the first moment they get diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer, maybe they would benefit from this, and maybe it'd have an even longer lasting effect, where potentially, if you give it up front, you might be able to cure a patient. So you could imagine that there's going to be even more questions that need to be answered. So the potential applications of this could increase exponentially in the future as well.